Hi, I'm Toma Clark Haines, founder of the Republic of Toma and CEO of the Antiques Diva and Co. So tonight it's the Prosecco Power Hour, and so I'm going live with my cohort in crime, my colleague in design. How do we call her? Andrea Hysmith of ASH Antiques and Interior Design. Go live with ASH Antiques and Design. Let's see what happens. Okay, it worked. You're on.
Girl, why is this phone and computer acting like we haven't done this before?
You know what? I think every single time Instagram does an update, it causes problems. By the
You
way,
know
I
what? You're
was.
right. Do you see how blonde I went?
It looks good. You look really good.
Okay, do you know why I went so blonde?
No, tell me. Tell me everything.
Because my gray hair is so disrespectful.
Okay, I will tell you. I have been blonde for the better part of 20 years because my gray hair has been disrespecting me for almost 20 years.
I mean, disrespectful grays. So I tell everyone the lighter it gets, it's because more grays have decided to just say, eh,
Yeah,
I'm staying. I'm staying a
to,
little bit longer.
to
I'm
rear
feeling
their ugly
jealous.
head. I understand.
Uh, so thank you. So do you notice my background is totally different?
Where are you?
Um, I decided to be Simone Biles and take a mental health break. So I'm sitting in a restaurant drinking Prosecco for our talk.
Oh,
I'm like, I can sit and have lunch. Like, I should be able to do that,
like
right?
a real human being
Like
sitting
a
and
real
having
human
lunch.
being. Right.
Imagine that.
Not in my car, you know. But I love seeing your face. How you
I'm happy.
doing?
I'm happy to see your face too. Okay, so in fact, I do not have any prosecco tonight. I decided. In fact, I didn't. It's the Prosecco Power Hour with water tonight. No, as you know, my mother passed away last week, and I just didn't think
Right,
having alcohol tonight seemed like a great idea. I was like,
right,
sometimes alcohol can make you sad, and I thought, I don't know that I necessarily need this tonight.
right.
So I
Understood.
decided not to.
Understood.
But that's also part. So our topic for tonight's Prosecco Power Hour is self care, and
Self
that's actually
care.
like part of the conversation is figuring out like what are those things that work for you as self care. So
Right.
are you actually taking at this moment the most self care you could possibly do? Is to take a moment to sit down, to have a drink, to sit in a restaurant and be a real life human being and
Right.
have a bite to eat. I mean,
Right.
like treat
And
yourself with respect.
right. And it's 2 o'clock. Um, I knew I was going to see you, but I don't ever sit and have lunch. Like, I will have something in my car, snacks or whatever, or eat when I get home. But, it's just been one of those starts of the week.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? I am going to do this and get to see your face. And I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm so sorry about your mother, but I'm so glad you're here. So, yes, our talk is about part two
Yeah.
of self care and peace and balance. And you start. Were you
Okay.
at that hotel that you
Yes,
put
in
in the
fact, okay.
picture?
So I was actually there yesterday. I had a spa date yesterday. So I've kind of a funny story. Sorry, I'm moving around a lot. I didn't put my
It's okay.
camera on I didn't set my camera on the stand, and then my wrist started hurting. No, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
So my mother passed away last week, and I couldn't go to the States. I wasn't able to go, and to be in that moment where you're not able to travel, to be on the other side of the world, feeling somewhat trapped in Italy at this moment, and I did the weirdest thing after I found out. After I found out, of course, I cried a lot, and I had an appointment already booked that day for a massage. And it was just a
Okay.
coincidence that the appointment was booked for a massage. But
Okay.
it's why I suggested we have this conversation about self
Mm-hmm.
care because the I had a pretty stressful situation happen 3, 4 weeks ago. And whenever stressful times happen, I always book not one, not two, but 3 massages. Because I know
Really?
myself that when I'm stressed, it takes 3 massages to process through mentally what's going on in my head, like what I'm dealing with.
Okay.
And so this was actually the third of the series of massages that I was taking for
Really?
dealing with the processing the last bad situation.
Right.
And so, but what's amazing is the day I found out, I had this appointment already booked, and I showed up
Okay.
and got a massage. Well,
Okay.
then it was so amazing, this massage, because it made me, during the time, I was able to really visualize the happy times with my mom and put my mom in a really happy
Okay.
place to make, I think to just to help in that moment.
Right.
And I immediately booked 2 more massages because I thought, this is what I do in times
This
of
is what I
stress.
do.
This is what I do. I book a massage because I
I
know
do.
a massage is going to help me process my emotions. It's going to help me balance my emotions, my mental health, and my physical well-being. And it's
Okay.
going to get rid of tension, which if my physical body feels good, it's going to help emotionally
Right.
for me to feel good. It,
Huh.
it's nourishing, it's comforting. It was, I couldn't be with my family, and it was this, I felt it was the strangest thing. I was like, kind of in judgment of myself, like, I'm booking a massage after my mother passed away. And in fact, it was the healthiest thing I think I could have done. I had 3 massages this week. I did at the hotel, and my friend and I did a spa day. And it felt really weird for this.
But you needed that. You needed that. And I'm glad you did that because everyone handles stress differently. Everyone handles hurt differently. And I'm glad you did that. I would have eaten a gallon of ice cream, and that would not have been a good thing.
Yeah, it was really interesting to me thinking about in this week, in a time when, with grief, what I realized is, with grief, you can't do anything to get rid of grief. You just have to
Right.
be with it. Like, you just have to feel it.
Yeah.
And so the only way to feel it is to just be fully present in the moment, and when the
Right.
wave comes, accept that wave of grief, and then pick up your book and start reading. And or feel the grief, go through the moment of crying, and then take a walk. And so it's been, so the last week I've learned so much about what self-care means to me. It's why I actually made the suggestion for us to talk about it, because it,
Yeah.
it self-care has really been defined for me this week. Like, and my sister said, sister's like, because I said this about taking a massage, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope that you don't think I'm the worst person on earth. And she's like, Toma,
Right.
I love that you took a massage. But she's like, I don't even know what I would do for self-care. And so it came into this whole conversation, like, what do you do for self-care?
What do you
And
do?
I'm curious, like, what your answer to this question is.
Hmm.
Because I have my go-to is
So,
first a massage, then it's read a book, take a shower.
right. So it's interesting because the question made me think. So in transparency, because that's what we do, my anniversary, ex-anniversary, was recently. And it was the anniversary of not only my marriage, but my engagement, right? And what's interesting is I didn't even realize it was that day, okay, until later. But I think a part of the reason that I didn't realize it was that day was because I decided last week to take a little mini time out. And it wasn't because of that week, but maybe it was, I don't know. But I was just feeling very anxious and I was feeling overwhelmed. And I don't want to eat a gallon of ice cream, which is usually my self-care, but that's not self-care.
So
um, exactly. But I went to the beach.
okay,
And so I love
part of it.
water. And that's exactly it. Water makes me feel completely calm. I don't know if it's the whole, they say that the psychological, like you're born in the womb and all that stuff. I don't know. But every morning I would wake up at like dawn actually. So it's, 5:30 in the morning. I'm out at the beach by myself. I'm there looking at the water, totally in the present, watching the sunrise, and then I would fall asleep on the beach for like 2 hours, just like passed out on the beach. Thank goodness I didn't get robbed. But that's what I do, and that is the most calming. And so I'm leaving in 2 weeks, and I'm going to Mexico so I can have some more water.
Oh, that's amazing. It's funny. So the other things, like I said, I, I, I jokes that like okay, your gilded cage. She's like, no one feels sorry for you.
Right.
I think a lot of people, all the things
Oh, I'm losing you.
all the things I normally would have done with process grief, I would have been with my family, but I couldn't do that. So first, I said I did the massages. Second of all, I picked up a mindless fiction book that I'm going to read this. And third of
that's
all,
the best.
my first plan was to go to the beach, but two of my best friends from Berlin happened to be in town, arriving. Literally, they arrived right after I found out about my mom.
Oh, good.
It's honestly, it's amazing. These are people who have been through they have been through the trenches with me. When my ex-husband and I, when the house burned down, they were the people. We showed up at their house in the middle of the night with a cat covered in
What?
so like they're people, they've been through it with us. But
Oh my gosh.
they showed up, and the next day, normally, of course, you would have been dealing with the things. If I would have been able to go to America, I would have been dealing with funeral. I would have been with family. Well, I couldn't do any of that. So we rented a boat and we went out in a boat and we swam and we brought our books and we had a huge canopy over the boat. We boated on the Lake Betty. And we just went swimming all day long in the lagoon. We would jump. I literally jumped like a cannonball, like a little kid, off the boat. I have a fear. Our boat driver, Pierre Angelo, I know he took pictures of me jumping in a cannonball off the boat. I was like, I'll kill you if you post them. But it was so weird because it's like the would ever normally do in that
Right.
moment. And yet, I will say, when people ask me, they're like, what do you want to do? Like, tell us what you want. And I said, I want to go beach in the water. And for me, it was the exact same thing that you. The water was here. Water is something that for me, water. I'm a water sign. Water.
Right.
And the we had a drive 8 or 9 hours, and
Perfect.
I floated. Like I floated. I mean, it was amazing.
You were like a kid. You were like a kid.
Honestly, it was. It's kind of funny you saying that because from the cannonball jumps to the just floating, no responsibilities. We decided not to drive. Didn't have to drive so that we could just
enjoy
the day together.
That's perfect.
But water was part of it.
Do you think the hardest part about living overseas is being away from your family?
For sure. It's living overseas is a wonderful thing. Great life. I will say in times like this, like I got the phone call in the morning, and then the next day there was already the criminal. Like even if I would have been allowed to leave the country, I didn't even get on my flight there.
Right.
I will say without a doubt, that hardest thing. Yeah, just not be there. And FaceTime is great. I mean, the ceremony, we did the ceremony for my mom, all just immediate family, and I was FaceTime, but it's like fucking FaceTime funeral. Like, no,
Right.
sorry, dropping the F-bomb, people, but really, I'm like, no,
Right.
like, don't sign up for FaceTime funeral. That's not what you do. Like, you don't
Right.
expect FaceTime so much. I'm FaceTiming with my sister like 4 hours a day, and my brother texts. It's kind of nice because my brother and I don't always talk, so we're close.
Right. Right. Okay, now I don't know if you've moved, but you're a little choppy. I don't know if anyone else hears that.
I think it's probably my hand covering the spot. I'll move
Me too. I'm on my hand because we're
there.
not, you know.
Better.
There we go.
Okay, I probably put my hand over the microphone, so thanks for
Oh,
on
okay.
that. You can hear me better now.
Mhm.
But no. So self-care, going back on the subject, is thinking again, what are those things? So for you, it's going to the water, you went to the beach, laying down and taking a nap in the sun, being so fully present that you like, I can just, as you were describing it, I could feel the sun on my skin,
Right.
the sea on my skin, the sun, the sand on my skin, the salt on my
Right.
skin.
Right.
Those are all healing for me.
Right. And I love that you said the book as well, because that is absolutely the other thing that I did. I didn't read, which I actually read a lot, but I decided that I was going to listen to a book on Audible, and
I
it
love
was just
Audible.
like, right, and it was like totally mindless. It was just like I was laughing, and that is definitely the second part. Now, I have, my therapist and everything have said, oh, you should journal, you should write. I don't know about you. I can't. And I'm the person, like, I will be like, this is the time. Like, I found this perfect book. I found the perfect journal. I've got the perfect pen. I've got the perfect candle. And then I sit there and I will write and write nothing. And then I'll try again the next day and I have a bunch of empty journals. Are you able to journal?
So I do. I've been journaling most of my life. Almost
Oh,
every day. Maybe 3 times a week, 4 times a week.
okay.
So I am a journaler.
So
In
what's
fact,
your trick? What's the secret? What's the secret?
what's funny, my most successful journaling is actually, and it goes against what they're going to teach us in the when we do the artist way, which, oh my god, we have
Mm-hmm.
to bring back on that. We'll have to come back to that. But so funny enough, last year in August, I was traveling with one of my dear friends, Lori. She and I traveled all over Italy for 3 weeks. And she saw every morning I was on my phone for like an hour. And I think she
Okay.
was surfing in bed. And she
Yeah.
commented one day saying, Toma, you really, when you wake up in the morning, you shouldn't immediately go surf. You shouldn't immediately go to Instagram. And I'm like, but I'm journaling. And she's like, what? That whole time. And I journal in my notes function. And the reason it works for me is I write in notes. And when you're typing on your phone, you can about words. My writing is actually much better when I'm typing in notes on my phone because I'm intentional about every single word. And
Okay.
that art, ordered your
Oh, I'm losing you again. Shoot.
oh man, have you ordered your book, The Artist Way?
Okay. Yes.
Okay,
It should be here any day.
perfect. Mine just arrived. So
Oh, perfect.
when we start this in September, with so many people, like I don't know how many messages you got, but I got a billion messages of people saying they want to do it with us.
I'm
Um,
so excited.
but one of the tenets of the artist way is your morning pages. So this is going to teach you
Oh.
journaling because for 12 weeks you have to write 3 pages. But the point is you dump what's in your brain, and I think this is going to be a great exercise for you because it's not
Oh my
about saying
God.
something relevant. It's you can say, oh, my cat's meowing in the background. Oh, I forgot to do this yesterday. I need to buy toilet paper. Oh, my mother really annoyed me. Oh, my next door neighbor is blah blah blah. Like it's like you're writing gibberish. It's just like whatever is happening, you know.
Okay, so a brain dump would probably be helpful. That is because I'm gonna tell you, I like have all these bubbles and just all this. There's a constant running to-do list.
No,
So
here's
3
the magic,
pages,
though.
huh? 3
And the
pages.
3 pages and they require it to be 3 pages handwritten, done in the morning. And the key thing is you don't reread them. So you dump everything on the paper and you throw it away. You do not reread. The point isn't about making your to-do list. It's about getting all of that clutter out of your head so then you can sit
Oh,
down and do what you need to do. And then you can sit. So it can take you 10 minutes. I will tell you, when you start scrolling random shit in your head, you start scrawling it. Sorry, I cussed twice on today's episode. I apologize, people.
right.
Keeping it real here.
Look. Shit.
Shit happens. No, I will
Exactly.
say I had a really shitty week. Shit happens. That's true.
And there you go.
There you go. Keeping it real, people. But it's so when you. What was I just saying before I said shit?
Brain dump all that shit onto paper.
Once you brain dump all that shit on the paper, then it allows your brain to be clear enough to A, you're able to actually focus on what you need to focus on, what's important, and B, you get out of your brain. You start picking up on things. You'll be saying that, oh, the neighbor has construction. Oh, I need to buy toilet paper. I need to do this. Blah 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 blah. I really want to learn Italian, and then the next day you'll see you're saying blah 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 blah. Oh, I really want to learn Italian, and I'm using this example. Really want to learn Italian
because you really want to learn Italian.
No, because Elizabeth, what's her name? Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote
Yes,
Eat, Pray, Love.
Eat, Pray, Love.
How she wrote Eat, Pray, Love, it started with her morning pages. She was doing a morning page dumping, and every day she would come out in the middle of her morning pages as she was dumping all this clutter in her brain onto the paper. She thought, oh my God, I apparently want to learn Italian. I didn't even know I want to learn Italian, but I've said it every week for the last 12 weeks. I've said I really want to learn Italian. So she enrolled in an Italian course, and it changed her life. And
it did change her life.
That's, I think, the power of journaling. But
I love it.
I think you do what I do. When I said I journal in my notes app because I can be intentional. I really choose the words. It's really for me.
It can be perfect and
It's about being perfect, and it's coming back to that word that we keep touching on. We're not perfect, and yet we're on this quest for perfection.
Absolutely. That's why I want the perfect journal, and I want the perfect pen. And then if my writing gets messy, I'm like, oh my God, I've got to write this page over because and then I got to start over and get a new journal because now I have a page ripped out, and that is anxious. That makes me anxious. So you're absolutely right. That's exactly why I probably can't do it.
So that's the whole point of the morning pages and I'll tell you, it's really hard to write 3 pages every day for 12 weeks.
That's what I was going to say. That's a lot of pages.
I will confess that I did The Artist's Way 20 years ago, and now I'm really excited about redoing it because I have things that I know I'm in a transition point. I'm on the cusp of so many things, and I know I'm at this tipping point in my career, and I know a lot of things are about to change. I can feel it. I can feel the shifting of the energy.
The shift in the energy.
I really can.
Yeah.
But I think that The Artist's Way, what it will do is it will help me clarify in my mind those things, like the Elizabeth Gilbert saying, I really want to learn Italian. I think it's going to help me clarify those things in my business as well as in my personal life and my priorities.
Well, what is this? It's interesting. It's very interesting because I think that we're definitely at a pivot. And I think that the timing of this couldn't be more intentional either. So, 12 weeks, huh?
12 weeks.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
It's going to be tough, but we can do it. And honestly, what's the worst case scenario? We're not perfect. We don't write a morning page every day. I mean,
there we go.
If the whole point of the morning pages is to break your habit for perfection, maybe it's okay if you don't do it 7 days a week. Maybe you say, I'm going to do it 5. And or 4, or whatever it is. Because I think the point of this isn't about perfection. It's about getting rid of that.
Getting rid of that information.
Yeah,
overload.
That need to be perfect. So the
That
morning
might
pages
have
are
to
going to be
be,
self-care.
I know, that might have to be another topic. The quest for perfection.
Oh my God. Yeah, we got to talk about that. Maybe next time.
There's a lot to talk about. Oh my
Oh yeah.
gosh.
Okay.
Um,
It's a date. We've got it for next time.
we have the date.
The quest for perfection.
Yeah. What does that look like? We started late, but
Yeah.
are we? What are we doing?
I think
Are
we
we?
started just a few minutes late, so we have a few more minutes to
Yeah.
go. Okay, so we
Yeah.
were running through some things. Let's
Right.
close this out on self-care. We were
Self
running
care.
through some things we do.
Right.
Uh, for sure around
Water.
water. I said taking a shower or a bath. That's an absolute self-care.
Absolute. Reading a book. I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing is being intentional about focusing on self. And that is not selfish. You get on the airplane, and the first thing they say is if there's an accident, if something happens, you put your face mask on first, right? Before you help someone else.
Yeah.
We don't do that in real life often. We help everyone else and we put ourselves last. So it is okay. Today on August 3rd, 2021, at 2:31 p.m., it is okay to be selfish. Put self first before you help everyone else.
Amen. I love the analogy of going back to you put the oxygen mask on yourself first because you
Right.
can't help anyone else. And,
Right.
in thinking about this with self care, I feel like I have pretty good self care routines. And I
I do
did in
not.
the past, but
Yeah.
the last several years, moving to Venice, when I moved to Venice, I moved here because Venice made me happy and I knew my life without a balance. And I've worked really hard to get my self care routines in place. Even something funny this year, I know you get up really early to go to the gym. I built my gym time in the middle of the workday, and I book it as a
You
work appointment
said that, and I love that.
because I wouldn't do it otherwise. I'm not going to get up early
Right.
myself. I will
Right.
get up early. I wake at 4 or 5 a.m. all the time. I'm not going to get my butt out of bed and go to the gym at that time of day because I'm not as
Right.
physically dedicated as you.
Oh, you know what? It's because, just like you said, if I don't do it at 5:30, it won't get done.
Yeah.
Just
Well, and
won't.
I realized the only things that got done on my schedule were the things that were appointments. So I've just started making these appointments with myself and appointments for self care. So I said this about I had a traumatic experience about a month ago. It was really stressing me out. So I booked immediately 3 weeks of massage in a row because I knew it would help me. But they were
Right.
appointments on my calendar. My gym was on my calendar.
Yes.
So I'm wondering what other things journaling things for today. Uh, but I'm wondering, like, how could I be
Right.
too?
It's You have to make it. Oh, I'm losing you again.
Oh, sorry.
There you
My,
go.
yeah, it's like this concept of appointments of our with our.
Oh, I know. But I will sometimes put an appointment to say, call this person because next thing you know, time can fly by.
That's great.
Yeah. I sometimes will swipe it to close the close the message, but at least it's on there. So no, I think that's huge, and I think if we're deliberate, and that's definitely the being intentional and the timing of all this, the self-care and the pivot and the shift in the environment, it's things are happening, things are brewing. So I guess we're gonna have to see, huh?
Wait, I have to tell you before we hang up what book I'm reading. Have you read this?
Let me see. Wait a second. It's reversed.
Oh, that's okay.
See,
It reverses it on camera. I never noticed that. It's
yeah.
See No Stranger, a memoir and manifesto of revolutionary love. Oh my
Ooh.
gosh. I'm only in chapter 2 and I like it's revolutionary.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you need to take a picture of it and let us know what it is so that I can add it to my Audible because I'm in
Yeah,
the car a lot right now.
I will put it in my stories and I will tag you. I can't believe it's so funny.
Yay!
I never noticed that the camera reversed words when you
I
saw.
know. And then I'm trying to get my brain to reverse,
Yeah.
and that didn't work.
See you. I know today was a little
I
low
know.
key for a Prosecco Power Hour. Normally it's like a
It's
joy,
okay.
but I think the thing that I love about just you and our relationship is I'm able to show up where I am, and this is where
Exactly.
I stay. And
Yeah. You know what? I just love that you just said that. And I hope that every person that's on here, you have someone in your life that allows you to show up where you are.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It is.
If I was Oprah, I would say that's an aha moment right there.
I think we call it our own aha moment. I think
Exactly.
O would give it to us. She
I
would.
think so too.
Enjoy your Prosecco. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you.
Sitting down. And I want you to promise me something.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I want you to promise me that you're going to make a date with yourself next week for lunch.
I will do that, and I will put it on the calendar, and then I'll tag you in it to show that I have it in the calendar.
Wonderful. I love that so much.
Perfect. I love you. I love seeing you, and I'll be thinking about you this week.
Thanks. Love you too. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.